Texas for District 50.
Mamo and Pawpaw is what they're known by. And thank you all for being here. And can we give a round of applause to the team that put this event together and get these beautiful streamers and this amazing sign. I really just love the vibe. So very well done, everybody. And so what we're doing, this is open mic. So after me, we're all going to come up and share a poem, say what you want to say. And so I thought about what I wanted to say today. And a lot of you, if you know me at all, have heard my origin story about how I became an immigration lawyer, which was 20 years ago. I was a student at UT Law, and I signed up for the immigration clinic because I wanted to speak Spanish, and everybody said it was a really great clinic. And my first assignment as a law student attorney was to go to a detention center for families and to do an intake with a family that was seeking asylum. And it was a mom and a dad and a little 5-month-old baby girl, and they were all wearing prison uniforms. And the mom asked me if I would hold her baby while we were talking and if I would sneak her out and take care of her until they could get out of this detention center. And that is what made me an immigration lawyer, seeing the reality of a baby in a prison onesie in jail and realizing the policies of immigration. But I was also thinking about that first semester in the immigration clinic, and I actually had 2 asylum cases that semester. This family that was detained, and another guy, I'll call him Zell, who was exactly my age. He was from Eritrea in the Horn of Africa, and he was so cool. He was super smart. He had been a student protester in Eritrea. He was being forced into conscription in the army, and he and some other students were protesting, and they got sent to a labor camp, and he escaped the labor camp and fled to the United States and became my client. And he was, like I said, my age, student, became my friend. He and I became friends, and he was so smart. He was a math tutor, really good at math. He had this, he spoke Tigrinya and Amharic and just was so worldly, and he had this really fine, neat handwriting. I remember that about him. He would tutor students in math, and he wrote so cleanly. And after he got asylum, we won his case and the other case. So I was totally hooked. And he went on to become an actuary, which is really hard. He took all the tests and became an actuary. And I thought of him today because we're here to celebrate immigrants. We don't just have to tell these horrible, awful stories of the refugees and the detention and the arrests and all of that stuff that is true. But really what we haven't been able to do as a community is celebrate and feel grateful and appreciative for and love our immigrants and who they are and what they bring. And I thought of him, and I thought of the hallways of these offices. If you've been inside, you'll see we have photos of all of our clients who have gotten their first work permit or their first green card. And I was just reflecting on Zell and all of these people who just came in and touched my life and then went on and live and are living these amazing lives here in this country. And it is such an honor and a blessing and a gift to be able to do this work in this community with this team. It is just such a special thing in life, and I'm so very grateful. And I wanted to read a poem, and I was looking at all these poems, and a lot of them are about the hardship of the immigrant journey. And like I said, I wasn't really in the mood for that. And a theme of our last event, thanks to Vu's sharing, is really we don't always have to talk about why immigrants deserve to belong, because they do so much or because they work so hard, that really immigrants just belong because they're alive and they deserve that. And so I found a poem that spoke to that for me, and hopefully it will for you too. This is by Mary Oliver, and it's called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. I can't read poems without crying. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. So, I love you guys. I'm so happy to be here with you today. And I think, Danielle, you're up next.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. So you've heard it. Leadership does matter. Policy does matter. So do our stories. And this is your space. If there is something sitting in your heart, a poem, a truth, a song, something, this is your invitation. You do know you do not need to be polished. We do not like perfection. Just come as you are, real. The mic is open, guys.